What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. An hour before ScHoolboy Q's Blank Face LP dropped, we got the Black Hippy remix of that part. Whenever you hear those words together, Black Hippy remix, you know it's going to be extraordinary. I think the chemistry between them four is some of the best on any label of this generation. You look back to their 2011-2012 run where you had Section 80, then Follow Me Home, then Habits and Contradictions, then Control System. Like, those four albums to me are all classics. And it just showed how much chemistry they had, because if you look at like the track listing and listen to the music, you always heard them kind of intertwine with each other. You got Ab-Soul on Kendrick Lamar's album. You had ScHoolboy Q and Ab-Soul teaming up with Druggies with Hoes again, and all these different collaborations that prove that TDE was such a tight-knit family. And over the years, that's kind of changed. Not to say that you don't see them collaborate with each other, but it's not like the focal point of their albums anymore. To Pimp a Butterfly didn't have anybody from TDE. Blank Face LP only has some of the new TDE signees on it. But I think it helps because it makes a Black Hippy remix more special. Whenever you see the four get together, it's going to be special. The first part of ScHoolboy Q's verse was premiered when he performed at the late night show on Stephen Colbert. And then he went on Snapchat and said he was going to rewrite his verse. And he didn't rewrite the whole verse, obviously, but he rewrote like the last section of it to kind of reflect what happened the other day with Alton Sterling being killed by police officers. His view is actually pretty controversial when you think about it. He says that the people that filmed are cowards and they should have died as well. And it really did have me thinking, like, could those people that were filming the incident have done anything to prevent, Sterling's death? And I don't know if they would have. It might have just complicated things, or I don't know. But I think having that footage was, key to, really sparking off this whole social media revolution that we're seeing and all the protests going on currently in America. I think with the footage, hopefully some justice is made, because you can clearly see that he didn't have a gun. He wasn't a threat to any of those officers. So I don't know if I agree with ScHoolboy Q's view, but I can understand where he's coming from. He writes from a place of anger. Getting into the other verses on the song, J-Rock had my favorite. I think he's so straightforward with it. And another thing that I always appreciated about TDE is that as a group, they've always kind of taken each other's like lines and used it on other songs. For example, you had Kendrick Lamar say "Get top on the phone," and after he said that, it really became like a social media staple. You see it, people say it all the time, especially in regards to like TDE releases, or like, when's Ab-Soul's album coming? Get top on the phone, things like that. So for J-Rock to say "Get top on the phone," I thought that was pretty cool. It kind of goes back to like those earlier days that I was talking about, when you used to see that a lot. And then you have Kendrick Lamar, who gives the best technical verse. And because of all the different styles on the remix, it's hard to rank them. At first I was going to rank them J-Rock, then Q, then Kendrick, then Soul. But now I'm thinking, how do you rank them? Because Kendrick was more technical than anybody on the song. But then J-Rock, being straightforward, he killed it. The only person that I would keep at the bottom is Ab-Soul, because unfortunately he wasn't saying anything on the verse. It felt like he was just kind of coasting. And it sucks because he's the next up to release an album on TDE, so you'd want to go hard. You would want to show out on this. And I don't think he really got to represent himself the best. And obviously on any Black Hippy song, there's always going to be the weakest link. But I think even the weakest link has some notable bars. But Ab-Soul's verse was just kind of there. It was kind of like a placeholder for Kendrick Lamar and Q, like in between that. The one thing that I didn't like about the remix is when ScHoolboy Q kind of teases that Ab-Soul's next, then SZA, then Isaiah Rashad, like those releases are coming up. We know that because we get periodic release updates from Top Dog on Twitter. I don't think it needs to be in a song, because it gives that song a timestamp. Like, it's not going to be as relevant in 5 years. And granted, that's just a small portion of the verse. So I'm not saying the whole song as a whole, but when you listen to this down the road, it's going to be weird hearing it because like these events have already happened. So it doesn't really, hold up as time goes on. Other than that, I really do enjoy when Black Hippy gets together. They bring the best out of each other for the most part. Then we appreciate these remixes from Black Hippy because we don't get the collaborations as often anymore. So let me know what you think about the That Part remix in the comment section below. And then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at @SermonsDomain. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, peace.